Welcome to the Deep Dive. Ready for a journey. Today we're going deep into the world of cyclodextrins.
Cyclodextrins.
Yeah, they might sound a little, I don't know, like something out of Star Trek, maybe.
Right.
But these are actually fascinating molecules, and they're doing some pretty impressive things.
Yeah, they really are.
In all sorts of industries.
Yeah.
So picture this. A cyclodextrin is this microscopic, it's like a donut, right? It's this donut shape, and it comes from starch. Simple starch. And the really cool thing is it has this hollow center, this cavity.
That's right.
And it doesn't like water.
No, it doesn't like water.
Hydrophobic.
Hydrophobic, exactly.
Water-fearing. So what happens is...
In a little cage.
Yeah, it can trap other molecules inside that space, that water-fearing space.
Right.
And it basically acts like this tiny container, and it can actually change the properties of those molecules.
Exactly. And, you know, they've been used in pharmaceuticals for a long time, like to help medicines dissolve better. But, you know, that's not really what we're going to talk about today.
It's not our focus.
Yeah.
We're going way beyond the pharmacy.
Way beyond.
Our mission is to look at all these other applications.
The surprising applications.
And we've got this CarboHyde masterclass.
Yeah, it's a great source.
It's really cool. We're going to use that, plus some other research, and we're going to get into the nitty-gritty.
Yeah, we are.
Okay, so basics first, right?
Okay.
3 main natural cyclodextrins.
Right.
Alpha, beta, gamma.
3 different sizes.
Different sizes. Think of them as donuts, different sizes.
Yeah.
But what really blew my mind was these things, they can act like dietary fibers.
Yeah.
Like a donut-shaped sugar helping your gut. Like, what?
It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, impacting the microbiome and, you know, digestion.
Yeah, and, you know, the really fascinating thing is it's that ability that connects to this idea of inclusion complexes.
Okay.
So because of that water-fearing cavity inside, right, they love to trap lipophilic molecules.
Right, lipophilic, fat-loving.
Fat-loving, exactly. So like fatty acids, cholesterol, things like that can get tucked away in there.
In that little donut hole.
Exactly.
So this isn't just like theoretical, right? Like this is actually happening.
No, it's happening.
There's data.
Real world data.
Yeah, they mentioned clinically validated data showing that, you know, certain cyclodextrins can actually impact lipid status, like cholesterol and glycemic response, like how your blood sugar reacts after you eat.
Exactly.
This is huge for metabolic function.
It's huge.
Okay, so let's get into the real, like, where are these things showing up? Where are they making a difference?
Okay.
One of the big areas seems to be improving the properties of other compounds.
Right.
So, like, making them dissolve better, solubility.
Solubility.
And how stable they are, like, over time.
Yes, stability, that's important.
And this, I'm assuming, goes right to bioavailability, like how well your body can actually use them.
Absolutely. I mean, if a compound can't dissolve or it breaks down, you know.
It doesn't matter how beneficial it is in theory.
Right.
You're not going to absorb it.
Your body can't use it.
Exactly.
Okay, so there was this, they had some really interesting evidence with CoQ10.
CoQ10.
Coenzyme Q10. So they had this visual figure A.
Figure A, yeah, I remember that.
Showing how much better it dissolves when it's complexed with a cyclodextrin.
Right, compared to just the CoQ10 on its own.
And then they had another visual, I think it was slide B.
Slide B, yeah.
And it was about stability. And the CoQ10 in the cyclodextrin, it didn't degrade as quickly.
To break down.
Longer shelf life.
Potentially, yeah.
Maybe even better efficacy.
Could be.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, lower doses, you know, better outcomes, potentially.
That's exciting. So it's not just like random supplements. It's like CBD.
CBD.
That's huge. Right now, everyone's talking about CBD.
Everybody.
And, you know, it can be tough to dissolve to keep it stable.
Yeah, they can.
They mentioned that there are hemp oil capsules out there
that use cyclodextrin complex CBD. So this is like real world stuff.
Yeah, it's not just in the lab.
This is in products you can buy.
Exactly.
Okay, what about fatty acids like lipoic acid?
Lipoic acid, yeah.
They use that in, like, you know, fitness supplements.
That's all it's, yeah.
Alpha cyclodextrin seems to be really good at that one.
Yeah, it really is.
And it increases the bioavailability, like, several-fold, they said.
Several-fold, yeah.
That's a lot.
It's a lot. And they said the absorption pattern was similar, you know, with and without the cyclodextrin.
Right.
But with it, the curve was way higher.
Way higher.
Way higher, meaning more of it gets into your system.
Wow. Okay, what about curcumin?
Curcumin.
The turmeric thing.
Yeah, the yellow one.
Everyone's talking about turmeric.
Yeah.
The numbers on this one are crazy.
They're wild.
So they said Walker, the company, they market a cyclodextrin curcumin product
Right.
And gamma cyclodextrin, 40 times more absorption.
40 times. That's incredible.
18 times bioavailability compared to regular curcumin. It's a huge difference.
It really highlights the potential. I mean,
Yeah.
this is like a whole new way to deliver these compounds.
And they made a good point. It's not like picky.
It's not picky, no.
Like they'll form a complex with most things that don't like water.
Most hydrophobic molecules.
If it doesn't play well with water, cyclodextrin will probably be its friend.
Yeah, probably.
The level of improvement might vary.
Of course.
Depending on the molecule.
And the cyclodextrin.
Right, different cyclodextrins.
Well, the initial formation of that complex, it's likely.
Okay. Resveratrol, red wine, right? Antioxidants. Everyone's talking about resveratrol.
Supplements, yeah.
Supplements, and this was interesting. Cosmetics, creams, and lotions.
Interesting.
So much more of it gets into the bloodstream.
Right.
And it lasts longer when it's formulated with cyclodextrin.
And they said without the cyclodextrin, almost no plasma resveratrol levels.
Wow.
So it's like a time-release capsule.
Yeah, so it's the body processes it more slowly.
Yeah.
And it can actually, have its effect.
Longer-lasting effect.
And it's not just single molecules, right? Like
Okay.
they're doing this with essential oils.
Yeah, essential oils, natural extracts, things like that.
More complex systems.
More complex, yeah.
But they did say the effects vary.
They do.
Like how well each component actually interacts with the cyclodextrin.
Well, makes sense, right?
Some are going to be better matches.
Better matches, yeah.
Than others.
Right.
Okay, what about fat-soluble vitamins?
Fat-soluble vitamins.
With vitamin D.
Vitamin D, yeah.
I mean, that makes sense. They don't like water.
Right.
So they'd be a good candidate for this.
Good candidate.
And they even mentioned this pregnancy vitamin had fish oil complexed with cyclodextrin.
I remember that.
So it's improving how well those fatty acids get absorbed
Yeah.
and masking that fishy taste, right?
That was the idea.
Double duty.
2 birds, 1 stone.
Yeah. But they did say it wasn't perfect.
Not perfect.
Like the bioavailability was good, but they still tasted a little fishy.
Yeah, it wasn't a miracle.
It's not a miracle.
Oh.
Okay, so the range of compounds they can work with is huge.
Huge.
If a molecule doesn't like water, there's a good chance cyclodextrin can help.
Very good chance.
Okay, let's switch gears. Food packaging.
Food packaging.
You wouldn't think of that, right?
No, not immediately.
You're surprised by this one.
Yeah, it's a clever use.
So 2 ways they're using this, right? They can encapsulate and release beneficial gas molecules.
In the packaging.
Yeah, so like antimicrobials to keep the food fresh longer. And they even have solid gas molecule cyclodextrin complexes.
Hey, isn't that neat?
That's pretty cool. It's like a solid gas.
Yeah, controlled release.
That's wild. And the other way is empty cyclodextrins.
In the packaging.
In the packaging, absorbing unwanted odors.
Yeah, like a molecular sponge.
Like that little cavity is just sucking up all those smelly molecules.
Exactly.
So you can add something good or you can take away something bad.
Pretty neat, huh?
That's really cool. Okay, let's go from what surrounds the food to the food itself.
Okay.
We already talked about dietary fibers, right? Good for your gut.
Good for the gut.
But it goes beyond that.
Beyond that.
It can change the texture of food.
The texture.
How palatable it is. Shelf life. Even the glycemic index.
How much it spikes your blood sugar.
I saw a note about cyclodextrin and starch.
Yeah, I saw that too.
Like there's a recommendation.
So
every 50 grams of starch you eat, you should also have 5 grams of cyclodextrin.
In that meal.
And it helps with the blood sugar spike.
Makes sense. They can interact with carbohydrate molecules.
Right.
Maybe slow down digestion, absorption.
That's pretty cool. Okay, specific applications like removing cholesterol from butter and eggs.
That one's interesting.
How does that even work?
So they add it during manufacturing.
Okay.
It binds to the cholesterol.
Okay.
Forms a complex.
Yeah.
An insoluble complex.
It becomes a solid.
It becomes a solid, so they can just separate it out.
So it's like filtering it out at a molecular level.
Exactly.
That's really cool. And they can even replace eggs in baking.
I know. That one blew my mind.
It's crazy, right?
So they create these stable emulsions.
Right. Emulsions, oil, and water.
Oil and water don't usually mix.
Right.
But with cyclodextrins, they can...
Even at high temperatures.
Even at high temperatures.
So you can bake with them.
Yeah. They did tests on cakes, toppings, things like that.
Wow.
And the texture was good, apparently.
Interesting. This could be a game changer for people with, allergies.
Allergies, dietary restrictions, yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And I saw something about adding them to seasonings.
Seasonings like salt, pepper, chili powder.
Yeah. And the idea is to reduce fat absorption.
Yeah, so you're eating your meal,
Uh-huh.
and the cyclodextrin is there in the seasonings,
Uh-huh.
trapping some of that fat.
Right, so less gets absorbed.
Less gets absorbed.
But they did point out it's tasteless, odorless.
Odorless.
So you wouldn't know it's there.
It's a stealth ingredient.
Like a secret weapon. That's pretty cool. And you can even combine different cyclodextrins.
In one product.
Yeah, to do all sorts of things.
Multitasking molecules.
They had this example with coffee.
Oh, yeah?
Better foam, better emulsification,
Reduce cholesterol?
cholesterol reduction, boost the caffeine,
Yeah.
and mask the bitterness.
So many things.
That's impressive. And we can't forget the simpler applications like
Right.
beverages,
Beverages, chewing gum,
chewing gum,
sports drinks,
sports drinks.
adding vitamins, things that are hard to dissolve.
Yeah, or to keep stable.
Okay, let's move on to another big area.
Okay.
Cosmetics.
Cosmetics.
This might be even bigger than pharmaceuticals globally,
Really?
just in terms of how many products use it.
Wow.
They said cyclodextrins are in practically everything.
Like what?
Perfumes, deodorants, creams, lotions, you name it.
You name it.
And they said most major brands are using them. That's a lot of products.
Yeah, and they tend to use different types of cyclodextrins
Different types.
than what we see in food.
Right.
So hydroxypropyl, beta-cyclodextrin,
HPBCD,
HPBCD, and others like methylated beta-CD
modified version.
is chemically modified.
Right.
So why the switch?
So it's about cost and performance.
Okay.
So the natural ones, alpha, beta, gamma, they're generally safe to eat
Right.
and they're cheaper to make.
Okay.
But these modified versions, they're better at dissolving and stabilizing things.
So they're worth the extra cost.
Yeah, they're worth it.
And they're really soluble in water,
Limitlessly soluble, basically.
which is important for cosmetics.
Very important.
Okay, so what are they doing in these cosmetics?
So they're stabilizers,
Okay.
emulsifiers, solubilizers,
Bioavailability enhancer.
bioavailability enhancers, yeah.
And in skincare, they're helping things get into the skin,
Penetrate the skin.
not just sit on top.
Exactly.
Okay, so how are they using this? Give me some examples.
Okay, so fragrance encapsulation.
Okay.
So they trap the fragrance molecules in the cyclodextrin,
Okay.
and it releases slowly.
So like those powdered fragrances?
Yeah, that you activate with water.
And shower gels, soaps,
Yeah, release the scent gradually.
perfumes that last longer.
Exactly.
That makes sense. What about odor masking?
Odor masking. So they mentioned a Procter & Gamble air freshener
Oh, yeah.
that uses empty cyclodextrins.
You trap bad odors.
Trap bad odors.
That's cool.
It's really effective, apparently.
But maybe not so much in Hungary.
They said it might not be as popular there.
Interesting. And they can even help with skin irritation.
Yeah, so they trap the irritating molecules.
So they don't touch your skin.
Less contact, less irritation.
Okay, what about vitamins like retinoids, vitamin E?
So they protect them from breaking down.
Right.
And they help them get absorbed.
So they're protecting them and delivering them.
Exactly.
That's really cool. And they even mentioned this like pro-drug thing.
Oh, yeah, with retinoids.
Where they link the cyclodextrin to the retinoid.
It's like a slow release.
Wow, that's pretty high tech.
It is.
Okay, what about ferulic acid? That's a popular one.
Ferulic acid, yeah, great antioxidant.
But unstable.
Unstable.
Cyclodextrin to the rescue.
To the rescue.
So they showed this data.
The stability was amazing.
Yeah, the ferulic acid with cyclodextrin, super stable. And the other ones, not so much.
Degraded quickly.
Wow, that's a big difference.
It is.
And resveratrol in cosmetics.
They use HPBCD for that one.
Because it's better at complexing.
Better complexing.
And it dissolves better in water.
Really soluble.
Okay, and I even saw shampoos.
Shampoos, yeah.
They're probably doing the same things there.
Probably. Emulsifying, helping things absorb.
Makes sense. And then there's Noble Panacea.
Noble Panacea.
To Kelly Cosmetics.
They're using metal organic frameworks
MS.
made from cyclodextrins.
It's pretty advanced.
And this is based on, like, Nobel Prize winning work.
Sir Fraser Stoddard. Wow, this is like next level stuff.
It is.
Okay, now for the wild card round.
Okay, let's get wild.
Other industrial applications.
This is where it gets fun.
This is where we see how versatile these things are.
Ready?
So paintings, they're putting cyclodextrin inclusion complexes into the paint.
Right.
And it can release things over time.
Like what?
Like fragrances,
Okay.
insect repellents, anti-mold compounds.
Your paint could smell good.
Yeah, keep bugs away.
Or prevent mold.
That's amazing. What about agriculture?
Agriculture, so pesticides, insecticides.
Yeah.
A lot of those are hydrophobic.
Right. So good for cyclodextrins.
Good for cyclodextrins.
So they can make them more stable.
More stable, stick to plants better.
And be more bioavailable.
More effective.
That's really cool. And they're doing other things too.
Right, like bee feed.
Beef feed.
Animal feed, making it better.
And get this, changing the color of animal flesh.
What?
They're using carotenoids.
The things that make carrots orange.
Yeah, and encapsulating them in the feed.
So, like, colored chicken.
That's crazy.
It is.
Okay, around the house, what are they doing?
So, trash bag.
Flashbacks.
With menthol cyclodextrin
Okay.
to mask odors and repel raccoons.
Raccoons hate mint.
Apparently.
That's pretty funny. And laundry?
Laundry, yeah.
They can put fragrance in the clothes.
Long-lasting fragrance.
That's pretty cool. And get this, COVID masks.
COVID mask. Wow.
Empty cyclodextrins in the filters.
To trap the virus.
It's like a chemical barrier.
Additional protection.
That's amazing. What about energy?
Energy. So, lithium batteries.
Okay.
They're researching this. It's early stages.
Okay.
But they think they can improve battery capacity.
How much they hold.
Yeah, and how long they last?
That's exciting.
It is.
Even dentistry.
Dentistry, yeah.
Toothpaste, mouthwash.
Fillings, cements.
Doing the same thing. Stabilizing, delivering.
Masking tastes.
Okay, this one blew my mind.
What is
The
it?
Space.
Space.
Space industry.
No.
Cyclodextrins in space.
That's wild.
So they're chiral molecules.
Right, to mirror image
They're
form.
left and right hands.
Exactly.
And they can distinguish between enantiomers.
Which are mirror images of other molecules.
So this is important when they're looking for life on other planets.
Like on Mars,
Yeah, they look for amino acids.
building blocks of proteins.
And life on Earth uses specific enantiomers.
Right.
So if they find a lot of one type,
It could be a sign of life.
and cyclodextrins help them separate and identify these enantiomers.
Very precisely.
So they're helping us search for aliens.
That's amazing.
That's so cool. Okay, last one, environment.
Environment, yeah.
Pollution, sustainability, all that.
Big issues.
Big issues. What are they doing there?
So they're researching using cyclodextrins to capture CO2 from the air.
Wow, that's ambitious.
It is, but it could be huge.
Yeah, and more practically, they're using them in advanced materials.
Advanced materials.
Like coatings, car paints.
3D printing, medical devices.
They talked about polyrotaxines.
Yeah, where they're threaded onto a chain.
Crazy structures.
They can self-heal.
That's wild. And water purification.
Water purification.
This is a big one.
Big one.
Cyclodextrin polymers, removing PFAS and other contaminants.
So drinking water.
Yeah, and there's even a filter, NOA,
Yeah.
that uses this technology.
And they're expanding to wastewater treatment.
So from tiny molecules to saving the planet,
It's pretty remarkable.
and it all comes back to that one thing, right?
Not one thing.
Solubilizing, stabilizing, masking.
That's the magic.
That's the magic. The possibilities seem endless.
Endless.
They're in our supplements, our food, our cosmetics.
And so much more.
So listener, think about it.
Think about it.
What problem in your area of interest
Any problem.
could cyclodextrins solve?
That's an open question.
And the research is ongoing.
Absolutely.
So there's more to come.
Definitely.
So what new uses will we see in the future?
Who knows?
It's exciting.
It's exciting.
Thanks for joining us on the deep dive.
It's been a pleasure.